From Washington, this is VOA News. 3 missing Israeli teenagers found dead. President Obama vows to act alone on immigration reform. I'm Ray Kouguell reporting from Washington. Israeli security forces have found the bodies of 3 teenagers who disappeared in the West Bank almost 3 weeks ago. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Hamas is responsible for the killings and that the group will pay a heavy price. Hamas denies any involvement in the teenagers' disappearance. The teens vanished while hitchhiking home from school near Hebron on June 12th. Reports say their bodies are found in a nearby village. President Obama is authorizing the sending of 200 more troops to Iraq to bolster security at the U.S. Embassy and Baghdad's international airport. They'll join the 275 troops sent to protect the embassy earlier this month. These forces are separate from the up to 300 military advisors the president authorized to assist Iraq as it battles an invading army of jihadists that's taken over major cities and threatens the capital in Baghdad. The French president's office says leaders of Ukraine and Russia have agreed to work toward a bilateral ceasefire between Kiev and pro-Russian separatist forces, as a unilateral ceasefire announced by Kiev on June 20th is set to expire. The statement from French President François Hollande's office followed a 4-way phone call on Monday between Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko, Russian President Vladimir Putin, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and Mr. Hollande. The European Union, meanwhile, is warning Russia if it does not use its influence on the separatists. VOA's Al Pessin reports.
Well, the European Union is threatening Russia with what German Chancellor Angela Merkel calls drastic measures in the form of increased economic sanctions if it does not rein in the separatists. But Russian leaders have shown no signs of revising their policy after months of sanctions, mainly related to their annexation of Ukraine's Crimea region in the south. And the head of the Russian and Eurasia program at London's Chatham House, James Nixey, does not expect President Putin to change his attitude now.
He has not made any serious attempt to dissuade any of the more rebellious elements and the more extreme elements who are pro-Russian in the easternmost parts of Ukraine to stand down.
Al Pessin, VOA News, London.
Pakistan's military is conducting a ground offensive against terrorist hideouts in North Waziristan after 2 weeks of aerial bombing and evacuation of civilians from the region. Ayaz Gul has more.
After evacuation of all civilian population, the army says its troops and commandos have started a house-to-house search in and around Miran Shah, the administrative center of North Waziristan. The army says the initial ground offensive has killed 15 terrorists and found tunnels and bomb-making factories. Islamabad began the counter-terrorism operation on June 15th by bombing suspected targets from the air. Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif ordered the action after peace talks with the Pakistani Taliban collapsed because of repeated terrorist attacks. Ayaz Gul for VOA News, Islamabad.
India took another step Monday in tapping the commercial potential of its space program. Anjana Pasricha has details.
+1, +2.
India's polar satellite launch vehicle blasted off Monday morning from the eastern port of Sriharikota, carrying a 714-kilogram French Earth observation satellite and 4 smaller satellites. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who witnessed the launch, pointed out that all 5 satellites put into orbit were from advanced countries.
Truly, this is a global endorsement of India's space capability.
The launch marks another milestone in India's efforts to grab a larger slice of the lucrative global satellite launch market. Anjana Pasricha, New Delhi.
President Obama is vowing to take executive action to change the country's immigration policies after being told that Republican opponents in Congress will not vote on the contentious issue this year.
I take executive action only when we have a serious problem, a serious issue, and Congress chooses to do nothing.
Mr. Obama will be asking the country's top legal official, Attorney General Eric Holder, and others to give him recommendations over the next 2 months on possible changes he could legally make on his own. And France and Germany advanced to the World Cup quarterfinals in Brazil. France shut out Nigeria 2-0. Germany edged Algeria 2-1. I'm Ray Kouguell in Washington.
That's the latest world news from VOA.